following program contains controversial subject matter. Viewer discretion is advised. The following episode of What's the Buzz is sponsored by Manscaped.com. Do you have sweaty balls or volleyball netty balls? It's time to make them ready balls. The Manscaped.com Lawnmower 3.0 will do the job and clean your knob with its patented no-nick head, so your head will function as desired. Enter promo code WrestlingFuture for a generous 20% discount. That's enter WrestlingFuture for a 20% discount. Manscaped.com and Wrestling with the Future, going balls to the walls with Manscaped.com and the Lawnmower 3.0. Your balls will thank you, and so will we. It's Tuesday night, and we're live. Amelia,
hello.
Welcome back to another week. How you doing, kid?
I'm doing wonderful. How are you?
I'm fabulous. This is Mad Dog DeCipio, and every Tuesday night we ask that question, what's the buzz?
What's the buzz?
Absolutely. What's the buzz? Tonight we've got a very special buzz episode. 53 years ago today. Actually, I believe it might actually be tomorrow, the anniversary. 53 years ago, men landed on the moon, or so we've been told. Then we found out it's all a bunch of horseshit. So we're going to decipher fact from fiction. Did we ever get there? And to help us decide whether we got there or not is a woman that's no stranger to controversy. She is a conspiracy theorist. I love this lady. She is a guest, frequent guest, from my old show, the Psychic Realm Podcast, with our late friend Shirley. Rest in peace, Shirley. This is Mary Ann Howard, author of a fabulous trilogy of books. Third one I don't have yet, but we got to watch this. Check this out. There we go. The Shadow of the Baseman. This is by Mary Ann Howard and Annie Walsh. But it gets better. Watch this. Check it out. Check it out. Number 2. There's the second one. This is a very special book to me. This is Shadow Dancing, The Rise of a Baseman. This is special to me because I wrote the foreword to this book. I also wrote the back page liner notes.
Awesome.
Yeah.
You did a good job, too.
They reformatted the new book, so you got to look really, really hard to find it. Mary Ann. How the hell are you, kid?
I'm doing good, Angelo. How are you?
I am, man. If there's, I keep telling Amelia every week. I keep telling her every week. If I was any better, there'd be 2 of me. So I mean, really, I'm living my best life. This is good. Good stuff.
Yeah, it's good to see you. I was trying to remember when I was on air with you last, and it wasn't actually me even being on as the guest, but it was last year this time when I was with Shirley. And it was probably one of her last episodes.
It sure was. Yep, it sure was. Because we lost her right after that, really quickly too.
Yeah.
Very
because
quick.
I was thinking she was doing better. I was expecting worse when we were there. And then after we left, she went back.
After you left Colorado, she went down fast.
Yeah.
Really fast.
Miss her every day.
Yeah. I tell you, there's not a day that goes by that I don't think of Shirley. I really, and you know, it's funny. I can't watch those episodes we did. I will listen to them because I obviously, on the radio stream, there's no video.
Right.
So I can listen to her voice, but it bothers me to see her, full of life, and then she's not here. It's very
I
bothersome.
agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
So, so where were you when 1969 the infamous moon landing happened?
Where was I? I was in Carlisle, Pennsylvania. We were just getting ready to move to Carmel, Indiana, which is north side of Indianapolis. We moved the next month before school, and I was going into 6th grade. So I was 11, 10, somewhere in there. And I remember Father McGinley was at our house that day. We were watching it in the rec room.
Oh, wow.
I guess we were having our last meal with our pastor priest before going to do our move. So, yeah, that's always stuck with me, that he was with us during the moon landing.
I was at a Philadelphia Phillies baseball game with my father, and they were playing the Chicago Cubs. And it came over the loudspeaker at the baseball stadium that we just landed on the moon. And I even at that age, like around 11, 12, around that age, because you and I are the same age.
Yeah.
And around that age, I thought to myself, well, that's interesting, and I didn't buy it. Even then, I didn't buy it. I thought, boy, that was awful quick. Where did we get that kind of technology from? Because that's how I thought. Even as a kid, I was a fucking nerd when I was a kid, a geek. I was really like a science geek.
Right.
And I love that kind of stuff. And it just didn't seem right. It didn't sound right. It didn't feel right.
Well, didn't you feel like sometimes the TV shows had better studios than what they had for their...
Yeah, really.
More technology.
Amelia, you have the interesting viewpoint here, because you weren't born. You weren't born till the next year.
71.
She's a baby.
Yeah, Amelia was just a baby. Yeah, speaking of babies, happy birthday to my baby, 52, my wife Anita.
Oh,
52, yeah. So you're the same age, Amelia, right? You're 51.
I will be 51 this year.
Okay. So, yeah, you were
I wasn't born yet.
Yeah, 71.
Yeah.
So here's what happened. So we were told that men landed on the moon. And immediately, almost, it's funny, Marianne, these things happen almost immediately upon some triumphant event or some catastrophe. The conspiracy mind goes into overdrive because we know shit that other people don't. And it works that way. And there's a synchronicity and a simpatico mind that just knows where to go. We've seen it with Elvis. We saw it with Michael Jackson. We even saw it with the Kennedy assassination. There were people who believed that the Kennedy assassination was all staged. I beg to differ on that one. But I will tell you for sure that the moon landing, that was a no-brainer for me. That didn't happen. It couldn't have happened the way it went down. Not with the technology that existed in 1969. Do you realize that there's more technology in this cell phone right now than there was in the entire NASA program? And I'm not even making this up. I can't make this up.
I know.
And please tell me if anybody out there who wants to chime in, to our, and the chat room's open, by the way.
No, absolutely.
Chime in and offer your 2 cents. I hasten to tell you, you'll get an argument if you support the notion that somehow or another we landed on the moon. Let's take a look at something here. Let's take a look. Did we get there? Neil was here, maybe not.
Okay. Why is that still there? How is that possible? Didn't
Well,
they?
that's a good question.
Uh-huh.
I want people to look at this. Let's stop this right here. This picture was allegedly taken in 1969. Okay. Interesting. If you take the same coordinates and follow NASA's own coordinates to that location, it's very interesting. There's no lunar tracks there. And since there's no life on Mars, I mean, on the moon,
Mm-hmm.
and since there's no atmosphere on the moon, and since there's no wind on the moon, those tracks should still be there, should they not, right?
Correct.
Guess what? They're gone.
How?
Because they were never there in the first place.
Right. It's
That's
a cast.
the answer.
Right.
Okay. The flag, okay, the famous flag that you see that's not supposed to wave.
Correct.
Right?
Because
That's
there's no
waving
wind.
like this in no atmosphere.
Because there's no wind.
Interestingly enough, the flag is gone too. Why? Because it was never there. If they took off and left that flag and a plaque on the moon,
Mm-hmm.
it should still be there.
Correct.
And it's not. So, where did it go? That's the magical question. Where did it go? Did it just vanish? Oh, here you go. Here's something interesting. I want you to, that is the actual spacesuit that Neil Armstrong, where you can go to the National Museum and see that spacesuit. Okay.
Huh.
That's Neil Armstrong's spacesuit. Look at the feet.
Yep, the tread's not there.
No.
Yeah.
It's
Look at
different
the
boots.
tread on the moon. Okay.
Yeah.
You won't
Mhm.
find that tread on the moon either, because again, it wasn't made there. I don't have any problem believing that we went in space. I believe that wholeheartedly. But I'm telling you emphatically, we did not land on the moon. We did not yet have the capacity or the technology to do that. And I will put money where my mouth is. Anybody who wants to make the argument against it. And I've said, you know, and nobody, by the way, I've done this challenge many times. No
Mhm.
one's ever taken me up on it. I just get snide remarks from people.
I'm
Here's
going to need to
something
keep my
else
readers
that-
on for this show. Look at these. I want to get into looking into the nitty gritty here too.
Exactly.
This here is the famous face of the moon picture.
Uh-huh.
That's supposed to be Buzz Aldrin. Okay. There's a problem, however. In that, you see that helmet he's wearing, the reflection?
Mhm.
Yes.
That's what I'm trying to look at.
There are reflections in there that shouldn't be there. Like a stage hand right off to the side.
Oh, yeah.
Now, what is a stage hand doing on the moon?
Oh, correct.
Clearly see his figure
Mm-hmm.
is standing there. He's just standing straight up. No spacesuit on, by the way. Interesting. If they were on the moon, he would have to have a spacesuit on, right?
Mhm.
Correct.
Yeah, well, there isn't any.
Hmm.
And it's a blatant reflection of a man with no spacesuit in the front window visor of that. Here we go. Let's take a look at something else. Oh,
Mhm.
Amelia, I know how much you love show and tell.
Yes, I love
We're
show
gonna
and tell.
get into it
It's an
right
adventure that took place not
Take a listen to this.
just in the month
More
of July.
importantly,
But-
more important than listening to this, I want you to watch this. Watch this man's body language. That's Neil Armstrong. And both of you guys are in a profession where forensics are important. Okay, take a look.
Rather, one that took place in the last decade. We all here and the people listening in today had the opportunity to share that adventure over its developing and unfolding
Listen to
in
him.
the past months and years. It's our privilege today
He's very
to
uncomfortable.
share with you
Look.
some of the details of that final month of July. That was certainly the highlight for the three of us of that decade.
Now, let's talk about this a little bit here, because I'm just so intrigued. It's not so much what he said or what he didn't say, but the way he squirmed in his seat, grasping for something important to say, knowing that in 5 minutes or so, 40 reporters were going to ask him questions about what it was like. Someone asked him this question, and I have a video of it. When you looked out the window and saw the stars, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Mary Ann knows what I'm talking about.
I do.
Yeah. He said, I can't recall. Are you shitting me?
What?
I can't recall?
One of them said there were no stars.
Yeah. Buzz Aldrin said there were no stars.
There were no
There's supposed
stars.
to be stars
And Neil
out
Armstrong
there.
said, here's a man who's about to step onto the surface of the moon, right?
Mhm.
They're asking him about the beautiful stars in the sky, in the universe, right?
Right.
What was it like? He says, and I quote, I can't recall. This is the most important moment in mankind's history. And you can't recall? Are you shitting me? You're about
Wow.
to step onto the moon? And this is the best you can come up with? I can't recall? Holy shit.
And there's supposed
That's
to be
crazy.
stars.
Well,
I
and
think-
there's not exactly light pollution. You know,
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
exactly.
you go closer to the cities, you don't see as many stars as you do when you're out, but they're out in the middle of nowhere. I'm
Mhm.
sure their little floodlights that they had is not blocking the stars out this way.
Marianne, if you want to see stars at night,
Mhm.
go out west, Colorado, Nevada.
Oh
Pick
yes,
pick
Texas.
anywhere.
Yeah,
Yes.
but even
All
there,
you
like
gotta
when
do
I
is
was
look
with,
up.
even in Denver, though, you look at, you got to go on the other side of the Rockies where it's blocking the light from the city.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, you want to know where you can go, Angelo, that's close? Up north in Potter County to that Cherry State Park or Cherry,
Yes.
whatever it's called.
Yep.
Yep.
Absolutely. I'll tell you where else you can go if you really want to star watch. Go down to the Jersey Shore. Lay on the beach. I'm serious. There's
Mhm.
all kinds of stars out there.
Yeah. Well, you go up north to that state park. It's up on top of the mountain. There's no lights. There's no flood pollution or light pollution at all.
Yeah.
None. I was up there 2 years ago. It's just amazing.
So, Amelia,
Yes.
are you intrigued yet?
Oh my goodness, yes. I was like, what?
See, Amelia's a conspiracy theorist, and we know this because this was her idea.
Yes,
She says, let's do the moon landing. I want to get into it. Okay, you got it.
absolutely.
I want you to listen to Neil Armstrong at the White House. I want you to really listen to every word he says because it's fucking critical. Interestingly enough, he died shortly after this because I think he was assassinated, to be honest with you.
They took out everybody.
Mhm.
Bill Clinton. No stain of the blood on his hands.
Thank you, Mr. Vice President, Mr. President, members of Congress, fellow astronauts, ladies and gentlemen. Wilbur Wright once noted that the only bird that could talk was the parrot, and he didn't fly very well.
Are you hearing what he's saying? Listen to what he's saying.
So I'll be brief. This week, America has been recalling the Apollo program and reliving the memories of those times in which so many of us here, colleagues here in the first rows, were immersed. Our old astrogeology mentor, Gene Shoemaker, even called in one of his comets to mark the occasion with spectacular Jovian fireworks. And reminding us once again of the power and consequence of celestial extracurricular activities. Many Americans were part of Apollo, about 1 or 2 in each 1,000 citizens, all across the country. They were asked by their country to do the impossible, to envisage, to design, and to build a method of breaking the bonds of Earth's gravity, and then sally forth and visit another heavenly body. The principal elements, leaving Earth, navigating in space, and descending to a planet unencumbered with runways and traffic controls, would include the major requirements necessary for a spacefaring people. Today, a space shuttle flies overhead with an international crew. A number of countries have international space programs. During the space age, we have increased the knowledge of our universe 1,000-fold. Today we have with us a group of students among America's best. To you, we say, we have only completed a beginning. We leave you much that is undone. There are great ideas undiscovered, breakthroughs available to those who can remove one of truth's protective layers. There are places to go beyond belief. Those challenges are yours. In many fields, not the least of which is space, because there lies human destiny.
The only bird that can talk is a parrot, but it can't fly very well. The other thing he said that was incredibly emissory, if you want to use that word, or admitory, is someday, and talking to these young students, someday one of you will uncover one of the universe's how did he say, Mayor?
The universe's untruths or something.
Yeah,
Something like that.
unearth the universal truth. Uncover
A universal
truth. Okay.
You know what my mind right away went to? Supposedly, if you go by the Bible, there's a firmament, there's a ceiling where you can't go past.
Yeah.
So is that past that firmament?
Well, that's the thing. There's literally a place in space you cannot go past.
No.
It's called the Van Allen radiation belt.
Right.
It's a real thing.
Yes.
If you try to pass it, you will fry up. You will literally fry.
Is that a what's the word for that? Like a torus field? Do you know
A force field, yeah.
Not a force field. I can't think of the word. Torus field? Torus?
Oh, I know what you mean. Yes, it is.
Okay,
Mhm.
that's
Yeah.
what I thought. So it'll go out and you'll be sucked right back. You'll be flipped right
Yeah,
back.
Mhm.
it's what's
Toroidal.
called a linear vortex.
Yes.
And what happens is if you try to go beyond that point, two things will happen. You'll get sucked in and crushed. A vortex sucks you in. It's an entrance way. And many people believe that the Van Allen radiation belt is nothing more than a giant black hole anyway. Because once you enter it, you can't get out.
Or a black hole is being what? A portal to somewhere else.
Yeah. A portal
Mhm.
of time. I read something. We're going to talk about something in a little bit. Elon Musk and Albert Einstein both believe that this planet is a simulation, that we are somehow being controlled by or manipulated by something or someone. Well, the religious community will say, yeah, we're being controlled and manipulated by God and or his counterpart. And you can make that argument. But if you believe that we are a simulation and you believe that the moon is a satellite, well, somebody had to put it there. And it's hanging there suspended with no visible means of support. So are all the other planets. Very big planets, in fact. It opens up the floodgates of a shit ton of questions that we can get into. Not the least of which is, did we ever land on the moon? Which, again, I say, I don't think so, to that question. Amelia, why were you fascinated with the subject matter of the moon landing? Because we've talked about this a couple times.
I mean, it's just, I mean, even in high school when they were showing the pictures of it, even our teacher was like believing that. He goes, but I have to teach this stuff to you because it's a part of it, the school, and I don't believe in it, but we'll get into that. And if you guys want to further investigate this with me, you can, we'll do a school project at home, and his wife was a part of it too. So we investigated a little bit more from what the high school didn't know. So that was a private part of it. Oh yeah, we had a cool teacher. I had a cool teacher.
Let's take a look at this.
Excellent photographer.
This is Buzz Aldrin.
I was walking
He's
along
speaking,
like
but you're going to
this,
see him in a minute.
and he said, "Hey, stop."
Watch this guy.
So I stopped and looked at him, and he took the picture right away. And you can see parts. Well, you can identify that I was just still moving a little bit.
You see how
But
he's looking
people
asked
asked me because
We're
it's
gonna
so
talk about that.
so well staged, and we call it the visor
Well-staged.
picture.
So well
Because
staged.
the reflection in the visor will show the landing craft, and it'll show the white-suited astronaut, Neil, that took the picture. And you can see my shadow moving out. So we call that the visor picture. But people have asked me, why is that such
That's
a
the picture that we saw, that visor picture.
perfect,
Yeah.
an iconic picture? And I've got 3 words. Location.
Location.
Location, location, location.
Studio.
Yeah.
This
He
studio, that
talked
studio.
about
No.
that
Does
visor
that moon?
picture.
Does that not look like? And I'm sure, Angelo, you've done some construction in your time. Doesn't that look like plaster or a spackle? Where you take and trawl it on, and then it gets the bubbles and the ridges and this.
Oh my God, yeah.
Yeah,
But
the
I'll go you one
bubbles
better.
and
I'll go you one better. There, and I'm not allowed to show it on the air, but you can go on YouTube and find it. There's a film. Can't make this. I swear to you, you can't make this shit up. There's a film from NASA. Got the NASA logo, everything, and it dates back to that age, 1969, of a light bar literally falling from the ceiling of the moon. They're supposed to be on the moon, right?
Mm-hmm.
The lights fall on to Neil Armstrong in this clip. All right. And I wish I could show it to you, but I don't have permission to do it. But you can go on YouTube and watch it.
Did they have simulation video though? So did they do two? Like one was supposed to be live and the other one was supposed to be simulation?
Yeah, actually, what it was, Marianne, a good point. Glad you brought that up. It was actually cartoonized. A cartoon artist from Disney, actually from Walt Disney, did all of the animation for NASA at that time, because NASA did not have the computer programming to simulate what they wanted to, but they could do it through cartooning. Because the cartoon people had this down to an art form, to a science. They could blow out a cartoon in an hour.
Right.
Okay. Walt Disney was it's scary to think of this, but it's absolutely true. Walt Disney and Disney World and Disneyland had more technology than NASA.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Think about what they were doing at the time. Animatronics that nobody else had but Disney. That they got into the movie business because of it. Their cartoons were second to none. They were lifelike at a time when a lot of cartoons were still like this kind of like edgy, shaky stuff. You know? Well, their cartoons were fluid and had emotion to them.
Oh yes.
It's remarkable when you think of the hoax that NASA thought they could get away with.
There's even a one that said that there was a Coca-Cola bottle on the bottom right-hand screen of the TV rolling on the floor.
And I'll tell you who noticed that. A woman from Australia.
Yes.
Why would she notice that? I'm going to tell you why Australia. The signal that everyone thought was coming from the moon was being broadcast from Australia.
Yes.
Okay. Why? They couldn't get to the moon. They weren't there. Were they in orbit? Absolutely. I believe that 100%, that they were in space. But they could not safely in any way, shape, or form land anywhere and come back alive. They weren't going to do it. They couldn't come back if they landed. It was a non-starter. They would have died there. They would have died there.
Yes.
Okay. The other thing that nobody seems to think about, there's no gravity on the moon. What kept them grounded? Supposedly
lead in their boots or something.
Lead in their boots. Well, guess what? Yeah, that doesn't fly either. You know why it doesn't fly? Because you could take a feather and a hammer and drop them. They're both going to hit the ground at the same time. There's no gravity. Okay?
Yes.
Something's going to float away. Okay? It's going to just float away. And you don't have to be a scientist to figure this out.
No.
Let's talk about this man named Bill Casing. He was a former U.S. Navy officer who worked as a technical writer for one of the rocket manufacturers for NASA's Apollo missions. He claimed that he had inside knowledge of a government conspiracy to fake the moon landings. Many conspiracy theories about the moon landings have persisted even to this day. They can be traced back to that 1976 book. We never went to the moon, America's $30 billion swindle. Okay. Should note that Mr. Casing isn't alive anymore. I wonder why. Far-fetched as the hoax theory may seem, in 2021, last year, Marianne, Gallup poll showed the following. 68% of Americans said that the lunar landings were fake. 15% said they were undecided, while 17% only said that we went to the moon.
Wow, I didn't know it was that high.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
You're here for all the awake people.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Well, if you and this was a few months ago. I don't remember, but it was up on the TV about with the NASA what was it? Space Canaverals.
Yeah, Cape Canaveral. Yeah.
Mhm.
The actual, like where the people were sitting and they were doing all the bells and whistles with the switches. And you looked at those things and it looks like a bunch of tin can coverings over, I mean, it's ridiculously looks cheap.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's like, how is this putting something up, and then we don't go back.
The moon
only during the Nixon years do we go to the moon.
Oh, wait a minute. We're going to get into that one.
I'm sorry, I'm bringing it up before you're ready, but
no, I'm glad you brought that up because I was going to go there right now. As a matter of fact, moon landing conspiracies theorists claim that some or all of the elements of the Apollo program and the associated moon landings were hoaxes staged by NASA and others, most notably filmmaker director Stanley Kubrick, who, as a Hollywood person, had technology available to him that NASA did not. The other thing is John F. Kennedy, God bless him, John Kennedy said that our mission is to send a man to the moon before the end of the decade.
Yes.
And have him return safely to Earth.
Yeah.
Okay. John Kennedy won an election in 1960 to Richard Nixon. He beat Richard Nixon, but we knew because of the Bilderbergs and oh dear God, Bohemian Grove, that Richard Nixon was going to be president in 1968. We knew that. At that meeting were Richard Nixon, George Bush, Ronald Reagan. Okay? Yeah. No coincidence, folks. And there's a picture of it taken at Bohemian Grove. If you think I'm bullshitting you, go look it up. It's there.
We did an episode on Bohemian Grove.
Yeah.
Remember, Angelo? Yeah.
Yeah. I remember well. I watch it and I refer to it often. Because it was a great fucking episode. I loved it. Here's the thing.
That's on my next watch list.
I don't know if he did it out of sympathy for Kennedy or whether he just did what he was told to do. But Richard Nixon, of all the people in the world,
he wanted the credit. What are you kidding?
Of course he wanted the credit, and he got the credit too.
Kennedy didn't get it done whatever, because he didn't have the chance because they took him out, but Nixon was there, so I'm getting it done, and it's going under my watch. So
exactly what happened, Mary. Exactly what happened. There is an interesting program that was initiated in 1968, 1 year before the Apollo program. Not a coincidence either. It was called Operation Avalanche. That program, spearheaded by film director Stanley Kubrick, purported to see if it were possible to get people to believe that we actually landed on a foreign soil, on a foreign planet, on some other entity besides Earth. They did this as a test. That film has been declassified by the FBI. It's now available at the National Archives. You can see it for yourself. Can't make this shit up. But yet, knowing the existence of that film, they still want us to believe that we landed on the moon 53 years ago today. Remarkable, isn't it?
It's crazy.
Very much.
The most notable claim is that the 6 crewed landings from 69 to 72 were faked and that 12 Apollo astronauts did not actually walk on the moon. Yes, you're hearing what I'm saying. I don't believe that not one individual ever walked on the moon. Entities have made claims that since the mid-70s that NASA and others knowingly misled the public into believing the landings happened by manufacturing, tampering with, and destroying critical moon video. Now, in case you're not aware, this happened. It was in the news 2 weeks ago. I can't make this up. The timing was serendipitous. NASA says they lost, and why they would admit this now. On the eve of the 53rd anniversary, they lost the original moon landing video. Then they corrected themselves the same day, Marianne Howard, and said, I can't make this up, the video was taped over.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, the video was taped over. Are you going to tell me that an organization like NASA can't buy some tape, go to the CVS or the drugstore down the corner, send somebody out and buy some tape? Are you kidding me? Are you really? You kidding me for real? Oh my God! Send some kid. Give the kid $5. Send him to the store and buy some videotape.
How can they tape over something that's that national?
Thank you.
Yeah. It shouldn't
Amelia,
even be around for somebody to pick up and stick it into a machine.
Exactly.
Exactly. That's what they want you to believe now, that they lost the tape. They lost the tape. Interestingly enough, yesterday, okay, see, listen to the timing of all this stuff, okay? Yesterday, they allegedly found the missing tape. Guess what? It's not the same tape.
Oh, they've had an upgrade. Technology's increased.
That's what they said. They said. I'm sure you must have.
It's
been
remastered. I'm the one that talks about remastering, so we know what it's like to remaster tape.
They said that because of today's technology, they have the ability to remaster the original tape in the high def. Okay. Blow somebody else, okay? But don't blow me. Because when I get a blow job, I want to enjoy it. Okay. That sucks. That whole idea sucks. The notion that NASA, the single largest entity under the U.S. government, that NASA would tape over such a critically historic piece of film. Are you serious? Unbelievable. You can't
made to look identical, not similar, right?
You can't make this up. I swear to you, you can't. Oh man. Marian, you've heard a lot of the conspiracy theories. What was the best moon landing conspiracy theory you've heard?
Oh, I'm not exactly sure in what context you want me to put that. Like, not going is like big enough, isn't it?
That would work for me. Yeah. Yeah, that would work.
I mean, you're talking about the individual things. I've heard the Kubrick. I've heard the simulations and the castings. We've hit most of the talking points that I already knew about.
Yeah. Here's my Amelia, what's your favorite?
I think it's the one where let's see, playing golf on the moon. I think that one's a funny one.
I forgot about that one.
Yeah, that would work because they would have to be pushing around like friggin' golf balls that weighed like bowling balls.
Yeah.
You
and
know?
just regular size. Yeah,
golf balls on the moon. Yeah. You're going to hit that ball. There's no way it's going to stay on the ground.
No,
it's going to float off into space. Remember, there's no atmosphere on the moon. People don't get that. The best one for me was I got a couple of them. Two really good ones. The flag on the moon, waving the old glory, the victorious Americans, showing off that those evil Russians that we planted our flag on the moon. There it is.
We're there first.
Yeah.
First of all, that flag would have dropped like a lead balloon. Okay? There's no atmosphere. There's no gravity. There's nothing on the moon. All right? That was the first one.
So the physics aspect of it, the flag standing out stiff like that is you're saying is impossible.
Yeah, well, what they did was
I
they
don't know.
put
I
them.
mean, if it is or it isn't. So
I'm going to tell you what they did because they admitted to it. They put a metal pipe in the top and in the side of the flag to keep it rigid. What they didn't think of was that end flapping. Okay? Nobody considered there's no oxygen on the moon. How can it flap? There's no wind.
right.
Mm-hmm.
It should have been like this. It
They should have
should have
paper
been
mached
like
it.
it should have been absolutely rigid.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it should have been. It should have been absolutely rigid, but it wasn't. It was fluid. My favorite, I got a couple of them. The one is the flag. The other one is that they saw alien spaceships parked. I can't make this up. They said it. I can't believe it. They actually said it, but they did. That they said, Buzz Aldrin says that he believed that they were being watched by alien spaceships on the perimeter of the crater where they were docked in. I thought to myself, you're going from one extreme to the other, Buzz. I think he's losing his mind a little bit.
When did he say that? Recently?
He said that
I mean,
in 1970, when questioned by Dick Cavett on the Dick Cavett show.
Cavett show. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's out
He
there.
looks
if you
like
wanna...
the person who was going to be telling the tales anyway. He's animated.
He's very animated, but I wanted you to see. I'm glad you noticed that he was animated because he never was before. In fact, he would never give interviews about the moon.
Right.
All of a sudden, in his older years, he's got nothing to lose now. So why not? And in some ways, he's kind of spilling the beans with his animation because everybody knows that's just not the way Buzz Aldrin operates.
Right.
He's very cerebral. He's very stoic. But now he's getting, quite lively in his conversation.
Huh.
Here's a guy that once threatened to punch. In fact, he did punch a guy in the face for asking him questions about the moon. And this is the same guy who for years, for decades, would not give an interview. All of a sudden, you can't get him to shut up now. He's talking like that, Neil Armstrong's parrot.
Yeah.
It's
well, that
crazy.
happens with geriatric conditions.
Yeah.
And especially they'll start with what was back in the back.
Yeah, exactly. I'll tell you what, Marianne, it's interesting. You work in the forensic medical field. Amelia works for Medicare and Medicaid. She works for the state of Florida.
Okay.
Yes.
But I used to work for Medicare.
Yeah.
And so you both work for the same type of entities.
Yeah.
It's interesting. So what do we do now with this newfound information? People are becoming aware of it, and people know it, and people are talking about it. However, those people are being quickly hushed by being censored, by their videos being removed. Other people are going to countries like Canada and England to get their information out there. I know a guy who flatly refuses to come back to the U.S. He moved to Mexico. And he's doing everything from Mexico now.
Yeah, but it's not so much where they're at. It's the platforms they're on.
I believe that. I have believed that Facebook is a wholly owned subsidiary of the federal government. I also believe YouTube is a wholly owned subsidiary of the federal government.
They may be wholly owned, but they're whatever the platforms, whoever it is, they're the ones that are being censored, and you have to talk in secret code so that you can get your message across.
Oh yeah,
exactly.
I've gotten very good at listening and watching some of these YouTubes where they're very good at doing the codes. And then they still get deplatformed because they have too many views. They have too many subscribers. They're manipulating the numbers.
Yeah.
So.
Well, it's interesting. Amelia and I did a video last week, 2 weeks ago. Princess Diana. When did we do that?
Last week.
Last
it
week.
was.
With the Princess Diana. How many views on that, Amelia?
5,000 something.
5,800.
800, yeah.
Okay. Go on YouTube now. You know how many views it has?
It's so over almost 6,000, isn't it?
No.
Huh?
No, it went down dramatically.
Down.
So they decreased you.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you how many are on there because I'm going to go there right now and tell you.
Yeah, people were really interested in that.
I'll tell
that's
you
like
right
our
now.
last video.
Here you go. 16.
What?
16.
Wow.
It went from 5,800 and change to 16. Okay. This is what they're doing.
Right. The thing is, maybe it's just like my lack of knowledge on that other end, as being a content user and doing some content now. When I hear people saying that, but if they've already been seen, what was taking it away from them? I mean, it deters somebody else maybe from watching it, obviously, but those 6,000 people have already viewed it.
Here's the interesting thing, Marianne. When we were doing wrestling episodes, right? My views, I'll look right now. My views are in each video. The views were in the thousands. Okay? In the thousands. As soon as I do an episode like the Kennedy assassination or the moon landing, what starts off in the thousands quickly goes down to 15, 20, some of them in the single digits, 7, 8. Okay? I have a guy on that I had to ask to leave the network. Okay? Pete Wilcox was doing a show on Jesus. They destroyed that show. He was getting 4 views, 5 views. Please, Amelia, tell me if I'm bullshitting.
No, we were telling the truth.
No.
Yeah.
I'm hearing that from other channels.
Yeah, it's that they don't want any reference to God or religion. They don't want anything controversial like Princess Diana. And the information we had on Diana came from a first-hand source.
Yes.
Was with
that's even
us on the
worse.
show. Huh?
That's even worse. You gave actual truth.
Yes, we did.
And
he was right on it.
On the show, we had somebody on the show, Amelia will tell you, whose family knew Charles and knows Charles, and who knew Diana and knows the boys.
Yes.
Both princes. Okay.
Yeah, my brother-in-law even went to Buckingham Palace and took pictures with Prince Charles and everything. Yeah.
But this was a guy who had
He has
absolute
actual
first-hand knowledge.
Yes.
Now, the moon landing. It all ties into. I love a good conspiracy. We all know.
Oh
that.
yeah.
Right.
But where does conspiracy meet the truth, and what do we do when conspiracy and truth collide?
People start dying. Actually, people start getting killed over it.
Yeah.
And people get bought off.
The great newspaper publisher William Randolph Hearst. Here's what he said. And only a newspaper guy could get away with this. When fact gets in the way of fiction, kill the fact.
Leave the fiction.
Yep.
Yeah. In other words, people don't want to believe what they're being told, so just make it up. Make it up. When fiction becomes more interesting than truth, eliminate the truth.
Absolutely.
And that's what he said. He's quoted as saying that. It's interesting stuff.
Well, let's look at.
Go ahead, Mir.
No, I was just going to say, well, look at how many of the things are predestined too. We're watching what we think is fiction, and 20 years later, we find out it was fact.
And that's why people, Marianne, that's why people believe more and more that we're living in a simulation.
Yeah.
And
I've heard some stuff on that too. Yeah.
Actually, you and I did an episode with Shirley, and I think it was called a glitch in the Matrix, was it?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then we did
When we
one
were
called
talking about the they're there, they're not, or they're shift shaping the
yeah,
reptilian things, you know, the
yeah.
pictures where, yeah,
It's interesting too that we did an episode on the Mandela effect.
yeah. We did the Mandela effect and MK Ultra,
Yeah,
Glitch in the Matrix, Bohemian Grove, and yeah, some good ones back.
good stuff. I'll tell you what, I'd love to have you back on with us. Can you join us Thursday?
I'm not sure if I can this week. Maybe.
Okay.
Maybe.
If you can, great. If not, then we'll come up with a top. I was going to do a part 2 of the moon thing, but because there's so much there, I think.
Oh yes, absolutely.
Oh God, yeah. I think the gist of it is that that people are waking up now.
I agree.
To what's going on, and I think finally there's some level of acceptance that the conspiracy theorists aren't all kooks. Although I don't mind at all being called a conspiracy kook. I kind of embrace that. You know, I'm
because we're not afraid to tell the truth. That's why.
That's
I've never been
exactly
afraid
right.
to tell the truth.
No.
I don't give a shit.
Me neither.
And here's the funny thing. YouTube, if they wanted to, they could shut us down now.
Yeah.
But they never have.
Nope.
But they'll screw up my numbers, knowing that I have said publicly over and over again, I don't care about my views because I've got 7.38 million people that have downloaded my show.
Absolutely.
When they download it, it's like giving a copy of this book on your shelf. Yeah. Okay? I'll take the downloads over the views every fucking day of the week.
Absolutely.
Absolutely, I will.
Well, you must not be hitting some of those key buzzwords that they don't like. That's the thing that you have to watch.
Yeah, you know what, Mayor? Here's the thing: when you got nothing to lose, you don't give a shit.
Yeah.
What are I going to do? Take my show? I'll just find another platform. You know how many platforms there are?
I'm learning. I can't focus on all that. That's too many. I have too much, to do and not enough time.
Yeah, there's a lot of them out there. I'll tell you what, Mary Ann Howard.
Yes.
Promote your books. Let me promote them for you. Mary Ann Howard is the author of The Shadow of a Baseman, based on the life and death of Paul McCartney as seen through Paul's eyes.
Yeah.
She is also the co-author of Shadow Dancing, Rise of a Baseman. Mm-hmm. And these are not thin books, folks. These are 400 or 500 page books.
Right.
That's a big ass book, and there's a lot of info. The second book, Marianne, takes you through the life of Paul since childhood. Is that the story?
The first book goes from is Paul and his death and what happened to him. Meanwhile, he had a child to a girlfriend he was going to marry, and now we're living through that child in the second book. The child has grown up. He's now 18. John Lennon had adopted him. I mean, we have some fiction to tell the story, but now as the adopted son of Paul.
And so in the book, he's Paul Lennon in the book.
He's Paul Lennon in the book.
Yes.
And now Paul Lennon's going now as he's older and John's dead. The second book gets into, if you can flip it. We have John's death, we're discussing there.
Yeah.
The assassination and how it happened, what was going on. We actually have in the death certificates and the write-ups and everything. There's pictures in there.
Oh, you actually have them, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Ann got those years ago. I don't know if FOIA's, but I don't know if that's still available. So.
Well, I'll tell you what, it was an absolute pleasure to write the foreword for this and the liner notes for this book. Shadow Dancing: Rise of a
Right.
Baseman. It's a hell of a book. It really is, and it's a big book too.
It's a big book,
third
and it gets into a lot of it.
yeah, is there an audio book yet available?
No, there isn't. We just don't have the actor to do the reading of it. We can't do it. You know, sometimes
There you
people
go,
do it
right there.
themselves. He has a Philly accent.
I can do
I need a
British.
Liverpool accent.
He can do British.
British.
Yeah, I can hear that British with the Italian paisan Philly coming through. Whew.
The name is McCartney, Paul McCartney.
Yes, Mr. Bond.
Bond, James Bond,
Oh.
Sean Connery. Absolutely. So tell everybody where they can reach Marianne Howard.
Well, they can reach us through the shadow of a baseman.com, shadowofabasement.com.
And that is the website.
That is the website. It has 3 pages to it. So if people don't see the little 3 bars up there to click, there's different things you can click. It takes you over to the books to purchase. It takes you over to the review page where you'll find Angelo's review. Not only will you find Angelo's review in English, but you will find it in Spanish as well, because the first book, I did convert that. It was something else I did this last year.
Yeah.
Was translated this with a nice Google translator into Spanish. We have
and I had a hell of a time trying to read my translation.
Have fun with that if you know, whatever.
I can read it to you.
Yeah. So, and then the second page there is Anne's and my bios, but then we also have the YouTubes, the links to that, you know, get to know us, go to our YouTube channel.
Yeah.
So the website connects to everything.
Well,
and then I'm on Facebook. I'm on all the platforms: Instagram, Facebook, Twitter.
Yeah. So are we. Yeah, we're everywhere.
Yes.
We're like horseshit. We're everywhere.
We're wherever people go, right?
Yeah.
It's like going to the mall.
We're very.
The malls are now dead.
We're all
on our social platforms.
We've been very fortunate on the show. Since we converted from wrestling, we're not doing any wrestling anymore at all. What's the Buzz is still part of the Wrestling with the Future Network. We are a real radio station now. We have real call letters, WWTF, and that's the real thing. And thankfully, and it wasn't too bad either. It wasn't.
Lucky nobody had it.
No. I was using it, but I hadn't registered it. But I registered it in the last year. So now we're registered and trademarked.
Cool.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. That's why we got this little puppy right here. See that? We got the register and trademark right up there. Yep. Amelia.
Yes.
What's coming up for What's the Buzz?
Absolutely. Well, you're going to be gone on vacation.
Yeah, I'm going on vacation.
Yep, and we're going to actually have...
Try not to burn the place down when I'm gone.
Well, I can't promise that, so I don't know.
Oh, Jesus.
I know. Behave.
I'm going to have to
I know Shirley and I were bad that he was on vacation, and Shirley and I did the show.
Yeah.
So, pointers.
And I was a nervous wreck then, too.
See, so I could tell you, so you could let me know where I can get some fireworks? Oh, sorry.
Yeah, right.
Down at the corner store.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
I miss having you as a frequent guest. I'd like to bring it back more often.
That would be fun.
It's fun.
That would be fun.
I just skirt the edges of a whole bunch of stuff, so.
Yeah, but that's what we like around here. It's open conversation.
That would be so much fun.
We can't stick to any kind of subject. We go off the rails.
Yeah, we do, because I mean, it's like one thing comes up and then the other thing comes up, and
we always
we're just going
to circle back at some point, right?
Yeah,
that's the thing I like about certain channels, and you guys, you're doing that, is you're having conversations with people and not always having to stick to some kind of script. The
best compliment I ever got, and Amelia, tell me this is the truth, straight up from an author. 2 authors. One author brought another author Alistair Cross and
Oh,
Tamara
yes.
Thorne.
Uh-huh.
These two are very eclectic, very eccentric people. They don't do face-to-face interviews.
Never, ever, ever.
Amelia got Alistair Cross to do our show.
Wow.
He loved what we did so much, he brought his co-writing partner, Tamara Thorne, onto the show with him. Because this is a woman who never does interviews.
Never.
But we got them both.
Well, I never would have done an interview had you not got me on here for the first time. And then I kept,
I
kept
had
coming
you
back.
and Annie on.
I mean, yeah, because it's public speaking freaks me out.
and it's funny though.
But it's like, how am I going to promote the books if we don't, get out there and speak? So.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we're going to do another show. In fact, we already have it in the written down. We're going to do another show on Paul or Billy, because I think that we might be at the precipice of disclosure, where I finally believe truth is going to come out about who he actually is.
Well, I think it's going to come out on many topics, but he's one of the big dominoes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. I think you nailed it when you said once he dies,
yeah,
the Pandora's box is going to open up.
Well, if he was contracted and had so much time to deal with this, I mean, that time was supposed to be over and extended. That I've heard. I don't know if that's true.
It's
a conspiracy topic.
it's the truth.
But yeah, so we might find some revelation in the next year. Who knows? So many. We're going to have revelation on so many things.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Absolutely is right. Well, I'll tell you what, folks. Never a dull moment around here, especially never a dull moment when Marianne Howard joins you.
Right.
She's one of my favorite people. I like her.
That's a pleasure to meet you.
It was nice meeting you too, Amelia.
Yeah.
And so I'll tell you what, we'll be here Thursday night. We'll talk about who the fuck knows, but join us.
Right. But to answer your question, July 26th, we'll have Angelo Capone. It'll be Jerry Lewis impersonator when you be gone.
Absolutely.
Yes. This will be one of our guests.
4, Marianne Howard. 4, Amelia Pitbull Chapman. I am the Mad Dog. Take care, everybody. We'll see you Thursday night. Bye-bye.
See you Thursday.